This is Jennifer Davies from Burr Oak Studio with a video on how to make earrings out of cut pieces of aluminum knitting needles. You'll see I have a couple of samples here. Here's one in purples with 5 sections of knitting needles. Here's a single knitting needle piece. And then here's what we're making today, 3 different size cut pieces of knitting needles to make earrings. We're going to be making blue ones. I have size 13 earrings, size 10 earrings, and size 9 bits. We are using 7mm jump rings, split jump rings, and also steel fishhook ear wires. I have some needle nose pliers that are bent, and I also have some flat pliers. I like using the flat ones when I'm working with jump rings because of the greater surface area. All right, so you can start top up or bottom down. I tend to, when I've got these larger sections of knitting needles, sometimes they've got little rough edges or burrs on them from when they've been cut. So I actually start at the bottom, and what I first do is if there's some roughness on these, I just run them along the edge of the bend of the bent nose pliers. And that just buffs it, sands it down a little bit, smooths it out. That way, if you've got long hair or you're wearing a fuzzy sweater or something like that, you don't have to worry about your earrings getting caught in anything. Now, to open jump rings, let me show you with my fingers first. It is a front to back motion as opposed to a left to right motion. So when you go to open a jump ring, you grasp it with one pair of needle or pliers and then grab it with the other and open it this way. I'm usually really bad and use my fingernails too, so you'll probably see that in a minute. Pardon the dog. Let's see how bad this gets. He's gonna go investigate for me. So once I've got one knitting needle on there, I bring this around to the side. I've actually spun the jump ring a little bit so that I'm holding both sections on there. I'm gonna come in here, grab the jump ring and close it. And you do want a pretty good close on there. Let's make sure the focus is getting this. There we go. We want a pretty good close on there. The sides of the knitting needles can sneak out if you leave any openings in the jump ring. So you do want a pretty good close there. All right, I'm going to grab the next jump ring. We are halfway done with making this earring. And I'm going to, yes, I have chatty dogs. My apologies. I'm going to put this one on here, hold it, and then come back for the tiny section of knitting needle. Again, I'm going to swing that to the side a little bit, so we don't lose, hopefully, our section of knitting needle. And then go ahead and close that one too. Okay, so now we're going to add the ear wire on here. And we want to be careful when we put the jump ring into this knitting needle. It's pretty tight in there. You just don't want to grab and actually cross the jump ring that we put in there previously. It'll just make the earring hang funny. So we want them, see how they're next to each other, but they're not crossing each other right there inside this knitting needle. So I'm going to hold that one open, add my ear wire, and close that one up. And we have an earring. Now this wire is pretty tiny on these fishhook ear wires too, so you want to make sure you get a good close on your jump ring there. All right, so earring number 2. And now I've reverted to type. I'm opening the jump rings with my thumb instead of the other pair of pliers. 1 knitting needle, 2 knitting needle, spinning the jump ring to the side. There we go. Closing this up. And now we're going to add the next section here. Music in the background is my cousin Will Evans. Give him props. All right, we've got that top section of knitting needle on, giving that jump ring a close. Final jump ring. Again, making sure we don't cross them. It's going to go in this little itty bitty piece. Add the ear wire. Close that up again. There's our second earring. So now we have a lovely pair of blue earrings. Thanks for joining me.